Hello, Whatcom County. You're listening to Community Radio 88.3 KMRE FM, broadcasting out of the beautiful Whatcom Community College. And instead of your usual fantastic Friday programmings, it's Pledge Weekend. That means that we have unique interviews highlighting all the cool shows that we have here on KMRE. And we're giving you a chance to be part of the fun. So you can call in 360-398-6150, or you can go to our website, kmre.org, and donate and support all the good work that we're doing here, bringing these voices to our greater community. My name's Riley Sweeney. I'm the host of the Capitol Beat, which covers all the legislative excitement down in Olympia. And that is appropriate because I have with me community advocate, and organizer extraordinaire and host of Community Voz, Liz Darrow.
Hi, Riley.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Liz is one of our show producers. She helps create and has been producing her show for 9 years, did I hear?
Yeah, actually, I haven't been the producer all that time, but I think Community Voice has been on KMRE since the Spark Museum, so about 10 years.
That is an incredible stretch of time. Tell us about your show.
Okay, well, Community Voice is, of course, community-powered radio, like all of the shows that you host here. We are a women-led organization, community-to-community development, and our podcast/radio show, Community Voice, is, we call it news and information you can't get anywhere else. And so a lot of what we do is focus on what's going on in farm worker communities, immigrant communities, bringing news and information about legislative issues like you do so well. But also we are proud to host a number of guests who wouldn't have a platform to get their information out in other spaces.
What are some of the most pressing issues you've covered recently?
Oh, wow. Well, great question. I'm kind of going back through. Recently, we had La Marcha Campesina in April, so that is a farm worker march in the Skagit Valley. So we had a couple hundred people there marching in solidarity with the tulip workers.
Yes.
So the Tulip Festival is huge in the Skagit Valley, and the workers there are oftentimes largely unseen. So that was an issue to bring visibility to that good work that they do. We also, ever since Zoom happened, we've been able to host people from around the country and around the world. So Dar Jamal was on recently. He's a brilliant author. And then we also try, as a women-led organization, to bring in a lot of the women leadership from farm worker and immigrant communities as well.
And, right now there is such a distance between people consuming their food and how that food is made, right? We have, most folks go to a grocery store and there's just not any sort of visibility. How does your show help bridge that gap?
Well, sometimes we have shows that are for workers by workers, so those are going to be in Spanish, and we have hosted farm workers, also folks from the roofing co-op, so there's a lot of different types of workers around the community that intersect with farm working, because when the season ends, they have to do something else. But the other thing that we do is try to, the news and information piece is to let allies know and people in the community know if farm workers are advocating for overtime, for example. Washington State became the first state in the nation in 2019 to provide overtime in agriculture, so people need to know about that.
And a fight that is still ongoing.
It's true. Well, and I think, so overtime is in effect fully as of this year. It was sort of a graduated rollout. But there's always going to be that pushback because of money.
Yeah.
So I think that what's important to hear directly from farm workers and their families is how much overtime has improved their lives.
Right. And how it can give them the dignity and support that they need and strengthen our food system while we're doing it.
Right.
It's rising tide raises all boats.
Right, exactly. And I think many people would agree that more importantly than food being cheap, we know that costs are going up everywhere, all over the place, but we also want our workers to be healthy. These are families living in our communities, obviously, and so it's worth it to pay a little bit more if that ends up being the result in order to have healthy food that is also improving the health of the community overall.
KMRE broadcast Community Voz. I believe it's weekly.
Yes, Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Excellent. And it's a great opportunity for you to tune in and hear stories you can't hear anywhere else. How did you get involved in community to community?
Wow. I think it was in 2009, there was an ice raid near my home, and my kids were little, and we became aware of just how
ICE being Immigration Control Enforcement.
Immigration and Customs
Yes.
Enforcement. Thank you. Those acronyms are always tricky. So we began going to the Cesar Chavez benefit dinners in support of the families who were both organizing at Sakuma Farms and the families who had members being taken away by immigration. So since that time, I came on as a volunteer, and then there was a need, I think, in like maybe 2014 or 15 for some media work, and that's my background. I went to Fairhaven College and got a degree in, well, at Fairhaven, it's a long title, but anyway.
Concentration.
Yeah,
Right.
concentration in film, and ended up doing the social media and producing the radio show.
Fantastic. And Community to Community has been active for many, many years. Tell us a little bit more about their work.
Okay. Well, we're in our 21st year in Whatcom County, and so the foundational, wow, it's complicated to explain. We have three main program areas. I'll start there. Participatory democracy, which is what I'm doing right now. I shifted from media into civic engagement over the last couple of years. We also have movement building, which is all of the people and the resources that make up a movement. So that includes, our marches, but also all of the properties that we work on. We have a farm in Everson, we have an agroecology center, and then offices in Bellingham, Mount Vernon. And then the solidarity economy, which is the world we're all hoping for, moving past, bosses and employees to a world where we all can get our needs met. And so that's a lot. But primarily, I think what makes us different is that we are women-led, and we pivot to meet the needs of the moment. And so while that's foundationally about farm workers, primarily, it intersects with workers, renters, young people, everyone in the community.
Such fantastic work. And I'm so grateful that KMRE can help elevate those voices and help inform the community. If people want more information about your show and Community to Community, where should they go?
Well, I would start at the website. That's foodjustice.org. And you can find most of our archived episodes there of Community Voice on the media tab, but you can also find information about volunteering, getting involved. We always need help. As you can imagine, we're a small team doing a lot of work in 2 counties. And then beyond that, like I said, we have offices in Skagit and Whatcom County, and you can email info@foodjustice.org if you're interested in getting involved.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the show, Liz. And for those of you who are listening at home, you can support making sure that voices like Liz stay on the radio by donating at kmre.org, or you can call in at 360-398-6150. We have the incredible Liz Darrow. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you, Riley.